Hi there, Rick here. Just looking at um the price of platinum. Okay, this is a chart. Okay, um, so back in what is it? Monday, April 14th. Okay, I'll put my mouse pointer on it. 2025. The price of 1 ounce of platinum. Okay, in Canadian dollars. $1,304.40. You see that right there. 4 months later, okay, broke the $2,000 mark, okay, $2,022.90, okay, show it to you right there, okay, Thursday, July 17th, 2025, $2,022.90. So in a 4 month period, okay, that's a jump of $700, okay. Um, that is really amazing, okay? Because look at it, okay? You know, there it is down there, and then it just shoots up like a rocket to a new high, okay? I was gonna say that, um, this this sort of chart pattern could easily happen to gold too, okay, and silver, okay. Um, there are some, what is it? I would say economists out there, okay, that feel that, gold is going to shoot up to like, 10,000. Some people say 5,000. Silver, hard to believe that Robert Kiyosaki, the guy's quite smart, and he's authored, quite a few numerous books. Okay, I remember watching one of his YouTube videos. He was just saying that silver can go up to like $63,000. Yeah, silver, 1 ounce of silver. Okay. That's a pretty bold prediction. Okay. But his reasoning for it was that um, there was more gold out there. Okay. Now I'm talking about, sorry, there's more silver out there than gold. Okay. Um, he was referring to basically, um, silver, held by, people, okay? Um, because he was just saying that a lot of the silver, okay, that we used ended up in landfills, okay? I think he was even saying that, these landfills could basically be the next mines for the future because it wasn't was it productive to go after the silver for the price it was, okay, but now, okay, if silver ever shot up to what, well, I was gonna say 1,000, and if it even shoots up to like 10,000 or 63,000, yeah, it would be worth going after the silver in those landfills if silver goes to like $63,000 an ounce. That would be quite amazing to see in a person's lifetime. Okay, of course there would be tons of people jumping on the bandwagon trying to get their hands on silver. Okay, because it would just be worth like so much. You have to remember, okay, $63,000 Canadian is a lot of money. Okay, and if you had what, 10 silver coins, imagine how much money you would have. It would just be, there would be a lot of really happy people out there, put it that way, right? And who knows, maybe uh because silver would be worth so much, um banks would start issuing a new type of card. Maybe they call it the silver card. Okay. um and then you can deposit your ounces of silver in the bank. Okay, and when you use your silver credit card, okay, it would just be deducted from uh the value of the silver that you have in the bank. Okay. um but then, gold, well, I would see that a lot of other precious metals would be worth a lot of money too. Okay. I could see copper, at an astronomical amount. Gold, palladium, um, yeah, and platinum as well. Okay. But, just, because, I heard, um, what was it? Going back in history now. Okay. No, I can't remember how many years, but um, I think platinum. Okay, I'm not positively sure, but I think platinum was worth more than gold at one time. Okay, or close to its uh, close to its to what gold price was. Okay, and I forget how rare platinum is, but I think it is more rare than gold. Okay. I forget the amount of number of times. Okay, but 80% of the platinum, okay, that's mined, it happens in Africa. Okay, I'll say that again. 80% of the world's platinum, okay, is mined in Africa. Okay, if there's any sort of disruption, okay, it really affects the affects the platinum price. Okay, um, because I know that um, the African mines have been having trouble, over the years too. Workers protesting, workers striking. Okay, 40% of the world's platinum production goes towards catalytic converters. Okay, I think I forget. I think a lot goes towards jewelry too. Okay. Um, I'm not sure some of the other uses for platinum. Okay, maybe the U was it the militaries around the world, they use it for something. Platinum. Okay. Um, I think it has a very high melting point too. Okay, that's why it's used in catalytic converters. Okay, because catalytic converters, they get really hot. Okay, and if you have a metal that has a high melting point, it's gonna was it be able to withstand that really high temperature. Okay, I still remember when I got my catalytic converter off my vehicle. The guy who took it off at the mechanic shop, I asked him, uh, can I keep it? Okay, and he said, yeah, you can keep it. I was going to recycle it, so I brought it down to a metal recycling place. Okay, that I usually go to, and I think they gave me $60 for it. So not a bad price, eh? Because of the platinum in there, right? Um, so I still think there's a fair amount of platinum in there, okay, that they can recover. And yeah, I got $60 for it. So, that was quite nice, right? So you can really see the value of platinum. But I was it this jump, happened so fast, okay, that I think it caught a lot of people off guard. I think that there was a lot of people that just couldn't get in to invest in it, okay? But listening to other economists, they were just saying that, yeah, easily go a lot higher than, where it is right now, $2,022, okay? Um, just because I think there's a shortage of it, and the normal norm. Okay, um, yeah, platinum was worth more, or if not, around the price of gold. So, gold is what, about 3,300, 3,350. So it could easily jump at, well, another what, $1,350, right? So that's quite a bit of money, okay? Because if, say for instance, you bought, well, 5 platinum coins, right? Um, sorry, 10 platinum coins, or 10 platinum 1 ounce bars, okay? You would roughly be what, about uh 300, over 10, over about $11,000 richer, okay? So that's a fair amount, okay? If you bought, like I say, if you bought 10 10 ounces of platinum, okay, $11,000 richer, okay? And that movement, okay, from 2,200 to 3,350, okay, can happen, very quickly, okay? Because look at this jump already in a 4 month period, okay? $700, okay? That's a fair amount of money, for a metal to jump in such a short amount of time, okay? Um, so, I just wanted to point this out to my netizens, okay? Um, maybe after seeing this video, you want to buy some, platinum mining shares, or, buy some platinum, just to, uh, store it away, and, cash it in when it, goes quite high, okay? Because there's also been some bold predictions about platinum too, jumping to like, um, $10,000 or more, okay? So, that is a fair amount of money, okay? Um, even if you had 1 ounce of platinum in your possession, okay? A jump like that, right? That's about $8,000 Canadian profit right there, right? Um, and then, imagine if you had 10 ounces, okay? What is it, 8 times 10, okay? Yeah, $80,000, okay? You'd be $80,000 richer. Because if there's a shortage of a metal, but I just wanted to point something out, okay? I think this was back in, was it 2008? Okay. Okay, I don't know the exact, was it year? Okay. But palladium jumped to $10,000. Okay. I think it was worth around, $1,200, and then it made a movement of almost what, $8,000-9,000, just like that. Okay, very quickly. It happened very quickly. Okay. Um, so if palladium can make this jump of almost what, $9,000, yeah, platinum could easily make this jump as well, right? And if I help my netizens out there make money, okay, yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy. I wish that Roaring Kitty was, down the block, lived down the block from me, because, he, I would compare him to the Hunt brothers, okay, because they knew what was going on in the market, okay, and they took advantage of the situation. Um, well, I was going to say the Hunt brothers, um, they did make some money, but I think, they lost it all, okay? Just because the banks, um, wouldn't, lend them any credit, but they were trying to corner the silver market. I think it worked out for a while, but then, it turned against them, and then they lost, a large fortune that they had, okay? It was different for Roaring Kitty, because he invested in GameStop, okay, at about $3 something, went to was it, $500 a share, okay? He cashed in. Pretty sure he made about $70 million off that trade, okay? That's a lot of money. It's 70,000 US dollars too, because I think he was from the US. But anyways, the shares were, I think he got it from the North American Exchange, so it was already in US dollars.